Hi everybody, my name is Nan-Lynn Nelson. I am the playwright for the new play Glory, the world premiere of Glory at Dixon Place where we are right now. We preview April 11th and we go from April 11th for 3 weeks, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then the following Friday, Saturday, and then the following Friday, Saturday, all the way to the 27th of April here at 161A Christie Street, New York, Dixon Place. Please come and see Glory. It's
Kasaun, it's a pleasure to meet you.
I'm Kevin. How dare you?
No, you told me to. All right, Kevin, it's a pleasure.
We're both Kasaun.
It sticks, you know.
It is. It's good. It's a good name. That's why. That's why I was.
You're doing next week. Think about me, right? I'm gonna get those lines for you. So listen.
Yeah.
So great seeing you in action.
Thank you.
So I got a few questions for you. I know you're in a rush.
Okay.
Tell me, how did you become the director of Glory? How did that happen?
Are you shooting now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That'll work. You can come in a little closer too.
Sorry.
Oh no, you're good, right?
I didn't hear action, so I was.
Oh yeah, no, we just we roll right into it and it cut right when it stops. The fire's already burning.
It's very nice. Are we gonna be in the movie?
Yeah, you're gonna be in the movie.
I wanna be in a movie.
Called Kasaun.
Please.
Okay.
Kasaun.
Kevin.
The movie.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin. All right. Yeah. Kevin. So how did this happen?
How did I become director of Glory? Let's see. It's interesting. Marjorie Johnson is an old friend of mine.
Okay.
And she sent me a text saying that Ellie Covan had seen me in a play that I was in last winter, and that she was going to reach out to me. And so I had wanted to get on the Dixon Place radar for a long time because I've seen a lot of things here, and I just wanted to do some of my work here as an actor or a writer here. Right. So I didn't wait for her to reach out to me. I emailed her, and she wrote me right back. And then I gave her my number, and then we talked on the phone. And she just wanted to know all the projects that I was working on. And then I told her, and then she said, "Well, I have this project with Marjorie because Marjorie is my oldest friend in New York because they used to perform together in a company in the 70s."
Are you originally from New York?
I am not.
Oh, okay.
I am not. I'm originally from North Carolina.
Oh,
You're like, do you want to share?
Okay.
I don't know. I'm from North Carolina.
You got some soul food up in here.
Yeah. So anyway, so Ellie said, I have this project and it's going to be a lot of fun because Marjorie is involved and it's really funny. They're like Lucy and Ethel, and I was going to direct it, but I don't have the same kind of experience with multi-character pieces as I do with solo pieces. So do you want to come and direct this with me? And I said, yes, I'd love to. And I've been wanting to work. I mean, I've worked with Marjorie a couple of times since we did a play together, or one time since we did a play together, and I really wanted to do it again and flex my directing muscles because I'm doing that more and more these days. So I said, absolutely.
Is that when you met Nan-Lynn?
Yes.
For the first time?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Cool.
We met over the phone first.
Oh, okay.
It was and then we talked about the play, and then we didn't meet in person until I came home from another job that I was doing, and then we started this process.
So speaking of process, what was the very first thing you did to prepare directing for this play? How does that go for you?
Oh boy. The first thing I did was I wanted to for me for a lot of the work that I do as a director or as a producer is about the frame, about the vision of the piece, right? So for me, it's about how do we serve this piece up right now in the space that we're doing it in and in the time that we have to do it in.
Wow.
And so I think the first thing I did was I said to Nan and Ellie, it would be great if we could do like really isolated pieces of light so that it's sort of taken, so that we take a play that is really, the stage directions of the play are very realistic. Like she's got a tea set and she's got this and all these really, and I said, let's not do that, let's do it so that it's kind of abstract, so that we're not having to raise a lot of money to get it done, and then also it will fit a little better with the mission of Dixon Place, which is sort of a place where a lot of wacky things happen. You don't get a lot of this is not a kitchen sink drama, but you don't get a lot of realism here in this space, and I think that and so that was the first thing that I did. And the second thing I did was I talked to Nan and was like, "Is that okay?" And then
Was she cool with it?
yes. I mean, she cried really hard at first. When but I think she was fine. I think she was fine.
The tempo, the piece is pretty snappy, and
It
there's
is.
different pockets of energies and highs and lows and dramatic moments and
Yeah.
humor, but then it gets real reflections.
Yeah.
How did you sort of work with that kind of dynamic sort of energy?
The most important thing with that is to when we're creating the comedy. So when we're creating the comedy part of it, the lights are a little bit more abstract. When we're doing the more real parts, the lights are a little less abstract, if that makes sense.
It does. It makes sense when I was trying to film.
Yes.
I
Great.
noticed that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and then then it's really about balance, like figuring out what things can be thrown away in terms of the way lines are delivered, and what needs to be taken a little bit more seriously as far as that's concerned. And it's if I'm talking to you just like that, we're being real, right? But if we're talking like this and we're more presentational, there's a little more comedy involved.
Right.
Yeah, my hat is on.
No, the hat is on point.
Got it in Detroit.
And you got the glasses working.
They match the hat.
So you direct you direct life.
I did this on purpose myself.
Okay, we're gonna come over here. Talk to me about the characters. And how did you work with the chemistry between the characters and the actors?
Yeah.
And also, I'm gonna go one more on you.
Yeah.
Which character was the one most difficult to sort of work with?
Well, I think that the most complicated, well, there are the three characters. The most complicated character, it would be the character of Justel, because she comes in and, well, I can't give it away, but
Right.
when she comes in and she has a secret.
Yeah.
And so to play, I had to figure out how I wanted to play, how I wanted her to play the telling of this secret, or is she telling the secret or is she not telling the secret? How secret is the secret to the audience, and how secret is the secret to the other character? I think in general the characters are the relationship in the play is really well drawn. You know who they are, and you know who they are to each other, and what their relationship is like when you read it and when you see it. They sort of, and we've got Marjorie and Sandra and Jesse. You just sort of know that you don't have to do a lot of crafting of character.
Right.
You just have to sort of craft the story of the play around what they do, and then help them in places where it looks like they might not know exactly where they are.
I think that in your directions, and you were very on top of it.
Thank you.
From just a gesture to the tone, to the level of the tone, to the way. I mean, you were really.
You mean the way I was?
No, the way the actors were reading the lines and performing. And you're really on it. So that's.
Thank you.
So
you caught me on the last day that I'm with them. So.
Oh, really?
So I really know what I'm doing today.
Well, I guess that's part of the process, right?
I had to get
sort of
everything in today that I need.
Relationship, the intimacy that develops over time with the piece. I can imagine that. So I know you have to leave. So this one question.
It's fine. You're fine.
What
I
does
still
this
have to
play-
go say goodbye to everybody.
Okay, good. What does this play mean to you? And if there is, what is the message you see projecting out of the play, and which message are you sort of curating or acting as a midwife for?
Okay, let's see. That's interesting. In the early part of my career as a writer, as a theater maker, I was very concerned about making work that was about that had a message that was about black men and black queer men, and how we are presented in the world, and how we present ourselves, and not being invisible, and real, very in-your-face sort of work. And then in recent years, I've been really more concerned about just being visible, about our work just sort of being in the world, so that people know that we're here, and so just by rolling out of bed, I used to say to young actors, just by rolling out of bed in New York City, looking in the mirror and saying, I'm an artist, makes you an artist. Because it's so hard to be an artist in New York City, even though it's the place where all the artists are, right? We get beat down so much. And so I say that to say that now that presenting myself as a black man and being myself, walking into spaces, integrating spaces the way that I do, and as both a queer person and a black person is political, just that. And so putting that on this play, for me, what's most exciting for me is that I don't think that I have ever worked with, as a director, with a cast and crew, production team of people who are not my peers, right? They are more accomplished.
Wow.
They are more seasoned. They have been around longer than I have. I've been around 25 years, but they've all had careers, that span 40 years.
Wow.
And so for me, it was about putting them on stage and giving them things to do that they may not have ever done before. So I was trying to think, like, how is this experience different for them?
Right.
So I was thinking about that, and I was thinking a lot about how just putting women of a certain age on stage by themselves in a play is a political act. Right? They could stand there and not say words at all.
Now, are you comfortable with such
for
a
45 minutes? Am I comfortable with it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't I be?
I don't know. So
I think it's. I think that putting them on the stage and allowing them to live a life full or not full, but be on stage and do Lucy and Ethel type comedy and doing this piece is political. Is an act of resistance.
No, it's amazing. I've seen people. I don't want to use the word compromise, but try to navigate the kinds of gigs they would do that would sort of project a certain image, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's a reality.
Yes.
Because it can be the difference between the next few gigs getting called and not. And so that's an amazing declaration.
Yes, that's possible. Yes, I hear that. I think, one of the things that I realized working on this play is that I am no longer an emerging artist. Like, this is a thing that has been in my mind for the past couple of years, but I never said it out loud until I was working on this. Because the emerging, the new and fresh and different, and not different, new and fresh and young is super fancy and super sexy to all the people. And I am not young like I was. I'm not emerging. I don't apply anymore for those emerging things because I will be 50 on my next birthday. So I am evolving.
Right.
But I know that I will be making theater from now until the end of my life. I know that I'm not getting out of it because I've been doing it for 25 years.
Wow.
So I know that I am here doing the thing that I am supposed to be doing. So that knowledge helped me, I think, to be a better dramaturg for the piece, a better director for the piece, because I was not worried so much about will I ever work again? And a lot of times, when I'm acting, I think when anybody's acting, there's a certain, because we're expressing our emotions all the time as actors and manufacturing them, and then they become real to us. We get really insecure about, am I expressing this the right way? Am I doing this the right way? Will I ever work again? Am I good? Am I bad? There's all those things that I've learned from being an actor. We'll see. I have an acting job later in the year. We'll see if I go back to being insecure when I'm acting. But I feel like there's a real power for me after watching these actors, these artists. There's a real power. There's become a real power for me to remember this is what I do. This is what that they can do this. Maybe I can do this.
So what would be?
Maybe I can do this.
This is
and
powerful.
Stay in for 40 years.
This is powerful. So, what's the political act or the political energy? I know you don't want to give everything away.
No.
But suppose you're speaking to some up-and-coming directors.
Yeah.
And this piece is something you're presenting as a study.
Uh-huh.
What are the experiences and challenges that you can draw from this to use as a lesson for other directors and possibly for an audience? Like, what kind of things are unique to Glory as a director?
Well,
My notebook.
well, no, I'm thinking about it. I think about what it is. It is very much the same as lots of world premiere pieces that I've worked on, but it is also different from lots of world premiere pieces that I've worked on. So the way that it's the same is that it feels like there's a point where it just sort of feels like I'm never going to be ready. I'm never going to say the right thing to unlock the secret to a line or to a moment or to a scene. It's never going to happen for me. So there's that. And then for me, the other side of it is, for me it was, the thing that's different is watching people who've been doing it for 40 years figure out how to be in it. And watching them find success and overcome insecurity in a real way, in a new way. And so for a director who is younger than I, who wants to direct this play, I would say that your job is to allow your cast to do what they do. Remember your vision, know what your vision is, and this is advice for always. Whatever your vision is, hold tight to it. Don't be afraid to change your mind. Don't be afraid to listen to others. But also, if you don't have a vision, you're not going to be able to guide people toward it. So, in particular with this piece, because you're dealing with people who have more experience on Earth than you, and more experience in the biz of show than you, you also have to listen and then also really offer. Don't be afraid to. There were moments when I was afraid to offer my opinion because I was raised in the South, and you respect people who are older than you, and for me, respect meant not offering my opinion. But then there was a point where I was like, wait a second, I'm here for a reason to do a job that I know how to do, so I should actually offer it in a way that it can be heard.
Wow. Sounds like an amazing experience.
Yeah. I'm not gonna cry, so
Yeah,
go ahead, try.
No.
I'm not.
I mean, we do have some Kleenex too, I don't think. No, this was great, man.
Thank you.
Kevin, thanks a lot for sharing your skills.
Thank you.
And your insight into the craft and putting some spotlights on what's happening in Glory.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you. And I look forward to seeing y'all in action.
Yeah.
Next week.
Oh, good.
Right?
Good.
Yeah. You gonna be around?
No.
What?
They fired me.
Oh my goodness.
So.
Well.
It's a good thing that I said nice things, isn't it? But
It's
they
a very
fired
good thing.
me. They're kicking me out.
I'm sure fire means something else in this case, if it's true at all. But thanks again.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Appreciate it,
Yeah,
bro.
take
All
care.
right, you too.
All right,
Thanks.
bye. Stop
Peace
looking
out.
at me.
Hi, my name is Nan-Lynn Nelson Ewing, aka Nancy Ewing, and I am the playwright.
And I'm Marjorie Johnson, and I'm in Glory, and I'm playing Jestelle. And I'm Sandra Mills Scott, and I'm playing Bitty.
And I'm Jesse N. Holmes, and I'm playing a couple of characters. One is Crowley like butter, and the other is Big Dog Ranger.
Well, it's wonderful to be here finally. Nan-Lynn, thank you very much for inviting me.
Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Nan-Lynn and
Appreciate
I did an interview on my podcast, Food.
Live. It was
fantastic.
live.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
live.
really?
Yeah, it was
Wow.
pretty cool.
Wonderful.
And we saved all the talk about Glory for today.
Oh. Okay.
And I can say this play is a glorious moment. It was really full of energy, and I'm looking forward to seeing it myself. A few of my
Great.
friends already said they want to sign up and come check it out.
Oh, wonderful.
And one person worked very hard to win the prize.
That's
to win,
right. We had a contest.
To come. So
Oh,
they had to-
during
really?
the interview,
So they had
yeah.
to listen closely to Nan-Lynn to win the opportunity to see Glory. It's a pleasure to meet this all-star cast, an amazing writer. And so
Yes.
I got some questions here for you all, and we can just flow. This will be edited, so it's just, you know, you're not on stage. Well, I mean, I guess you're always on stage.
The whole world's a stage.
Yes,
It
right?
certainly is.
So, some questions will be meant for all of you to jump in on, and maybe there's a particular question that deals with a particular experience that you might want to share that could be unique to you. So, I want to start off with what is Glory about? And Nan-Lynn, I would like to present this question to you as sort of the mother of this piece. What is it about? And also share a little bit about that divine creative moment that gave birth to the idea of Glory.
Oh boy. Well, it's about family dynamics, sort of generally speaking. The divine creative moment was, how do I write a play? How do I invoke characters of women who look like me on stage, speaking maybe not in a typical fashion, something funny, something out of the box, because having been in this business, all of us, for, should I say 40 years, over 40 years
You
for
can
some
say
of us.
that.
You know, we've all been in the business for a very long time, and as women of a certain age, and I've known Marjorie for at least half of those years, and I just love her work so much, and I thought, you know, I want to write something that Marjorie Johnson can do.
Wow.
You know, can be in and express herself in just kind of an out-of-the-box crazy way. And people like Marjorie who fit that category, women of a certain age, African American women, and then she introduced me to Sandra, and then to Jessie, and so I wrote it with Marjorie in mind,
Wow, okay.
because you just don't see women of a certain age in roles that often, that's comedic, that's serious, because I think she can do anything from soup to nuts. And but I did want it to be about something, right? For me, plays are always about the characters and their dynamic and what the story is that they're trying to tell. And I knew that I wanted it to be a comedy, even though I'm not really a comedic writer. So I relied very heavily on my characters to make it funny for me. But it really is about family dynamics, sister dynamics, particularly bringing in some of the old, relating it to some of the new current event stuff, kind of melding different time periods together, and then having kind of a little twist about it. And so as I started writing it, even though I kind of had in mind what I wanted it to be about, the characters really did kind of come through and filled in some of the gaps that I wasn't quite sure about. And so that's kind of how it all evolved.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, Miss Marjorie,
Yes.
Nan-Lynn shared, and your resume shared that you've been in the business for a while, and so I'm sure you've seen many characters. What was it like taking on your particular character, and can you describe your character a little bit and compare that to past experiences?
Well, Jestel is kind of a wild, crazy, full of life character that I love playing characters that's not me, that's not Marjorie. So I found that she was kind of out of the box, kind of wacky, but loving, you know, because, you know, the length she goes through to give her sister something special. And it just shows what kind of the character of Jestel, the character that I'm playing. So it's totally different than any other role that I've played. I love comedy. I love comedy.
Oh, wow.
Matter of fact, my background is comedy, but I haven't done comedy in a long time.
Wow.
Been doing mostly straight plays and dramas. but it all started, as a matter of fact, Ellie Covan, the artistic director here,
Okay.
we worked together with the Alonzo Players back in like late 80s, 90s.
Oh, wow.
And it was a comedy group, and they had a soap opera called Beulah Johnson. And that was kind of my on-stage acting training, if you will.
Wow.
And it was wild and crazy, all the characters. So I just I love comedy. I love comedy. So this is wonderful to have the opportunity to actually, have fun and be wild and crazy and silly and do things that Marjorie wouldn't do, but Jestel will.
Or would
Well, that's pretty interesting. I want to ask you a little bit about comedy. So, I used to think that you just get on stage and just be funny, but I've been hearing from actors and actresses that it's very challenging to do.
It's very
comedy.
challenging.
Very challenging.
It's so much harder.
Mm.
It's so much harder than straight drama.
Oh, yeah.
Because your timing has to be pitch
It's
perfect.
everything,
It has to
yeah.
be right on. Otherwise, everything sinks. And you lose the energy. You lose what you're really trying to do and get across because your timing is off.
Yeah.
So it's much harder than just a straight drama.
Wow.
Much harder. Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to be right back with some
Okay.
more questions. Sandra, right?
Yes,
Okay, so Sandra, you're an all-star. You've been in the game a while. And I wanted to ask, before getting into Glory, why do you act? Given...
I've been asking myself that a lot lately. I'm telling you the truth. Really, really good question. I don't know. It's just been a passion. That's all I can say. I love it when I'm doing it. I love it, love it. The opportunities to do it aren't always as much as you would like for, definitely, but I love it. I love the whole creative process, even when I get alone. But it's all discovery. It's all trying to find your way. It's all trying to find, the thing I really like about character development is delving into the psychology of the character, trying to understand their motivation, why they do this and why they do it this way, or where are they going with this, and just putting all the puzzle pieces together. That's what I find exciting.
Could you share a little bit about that experience in this play in Glory, and also what pieces of the puzzle you were finding and discovering for your character, and share what that's like doing your character?
Okay, well, it's been challenging because it's a lot of different layers, a lot of different the course of what happens in the play. It takes a lot of little twists and turns.
Right.
And with my character in particular, you'll probably think of my character in a certain way, but then as the play continues, you'll kind of see her, maybe not what you thought in the beginning. And I think, not to give anything away, but by the end of the play, you'll see her in a whole different light.
Yes.
And so that's been a very interesting process to find out, for instance, her level of, I don't want to give anything away, but like when she's decides that she believes something that's going on, or when she's like, oh no, I'm not believing this, or whatever. So that's been one of the challenges of dealing with this character. I just wanted to jump on what Marjorie was saying about, the whole challenge of doing, I'm saying challenge 100 times, but of doing comedy. And one of the things that's fun about doing comedy, though, is being able to release yourself to do things, wacky things you don't normally do. And I think that's what Marge was saying, is that, that part is like really fun, just to
Let it all hang out.
let it all hang out, do crazy things and act a fool, if you will, but in support of the piece, of what you're doing. It has to be totally related. But I forgot now. See, I'm having a senior moment. What was the question? What did you ask? No.
So,
Yeah.
your character was Glory? That's the character's name?
No, Biddy.
Betty.
Biddy.
Biddy. Okay, Biddy. So, quick question. Do you identify with Biddy in any way?
Unfortunately, I do happen to find some things that seem a little familiar.
Okay,
You'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. So, Jesse,
Yes.
how did you find out about this play?
Well, actually, I was called by Kevin, or at least he texted me asking me if I wanted to do the play, which is very rare. It's very rare that people just offer you roles without auditioning you, especially when they've never worked with you. So it was a real honor, and I really wanted to work with Kevin. And then when he told me that Sandra and Marjorie were doing it, then that was because we've never worked on stage.
No.
After all these years, and I worked with Marjorie in an industrial that was on film, but never on stage. So I really wanted to do this play. And so that's really how I got the role. He just texted me and said, I'm doing this play with Marjorie and Sandra. Would you like to do it? And, you know, I wanted to, I think I immediately let him know I was interested in it. Because you always want to read the script.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
Right.
And then
Right.
after reading the script, I was all in because it's a funny script. And one of the things, you know, about comedy is that after being in the business all these years, I like to pride myself in being able to read a script that's supposed to be funny and being able to get the jokes, to really get the jokes and understand the jokes. And I did. I really did. I understood the jokes. I understood where Nan was coming from. So I really wanted to do this.
Wow.
And so I'm really, you know, grateful for the experience to be working with these wonderful folks and just
Absolutely, I
doing
can
this
imagine.
comedy. Yes.
So, how are the rehearsals like? How is it like rehearsing with your cast? Is it intense? Is it a ball of fun or a ball of fire?
It's fun. It's fun.
Be honest.
It's fun because it's all about discovery, and that's how you find your character.
Yeah.
And the more rehearsals, the better. Each time you think, oh, you got something. You could even be in a play, and the end of the run, the last day of performance, you discover, oh wow, that's
man,
what that
right,
moment was.
right.
That's
Wow.
usually
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so it's a process of discovery throughout. Even when you're performing, you're still discovering and finding different things that you didn't realize that, oh, I should have done that before. It's like, oh, good, that really worked. You know, so yeah, rehearsals is a wonderful process.
Oh, that's great.
It helps you grow.
And also,
the
I think
characters grow.
Kevin set the tone of the rehearsal process. He's very funny.
Yeah.
And so he
Yeah,
keeps
he
us
is.
laughing all the time. And I think creating that atmosphere, it being fun because you are doing a comedy, and also creating a very trusting atmosphere where you could do things and not be, you know, admonished for if it doesn't work or whatever. So you can try new things, but I really think it's important that the director sets a great tone.
And that,
Yes.
I'm sorry, Jesse, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go
It's
ahead.
just such
No,
an
you're the
important-
writer. You go right ahead.
It's such an important statement that you made, because as actors, we're so vulnerable in the creative process and tapping into emotions, even if it is a comedy, and knowing that there is, I mean, the director is sort of like our, if it's a male, like our paternal sort of guide, you know, and it's like you want to make sure you're making the director happy and the playwright, but you know what I mean, and you want to be able to feel comfortable in your exploring, and setting the tone is just so important to be able to feel free enough to do that. So yeah, that's a really good point.
Yes.
How do you all maintain the focus when you sometimes have to stop? You know, sometimes I saw Kevin say, okay, wait a minute, hold on. Or maybe one of you say, wait a minute, I need to run this back. And you stop, you get right back in it. How does that work for you? Is it an off and on switch, or
No.
everything's just part of the flow?
It works because then it helps solidify the moment. So stopping and going back, it just kind of makes it more solid as far as you know, finding being repetitious.
Right,
You know,
right.
the more you do it, the more comfortable you feel
Right.
with it.
Building those layers.
Yes. Yes.
That's interesting, because I've noticed that when it happens, those were moments of maybe discovering or something through the conversations. Like, oh wow, this is interesting.
Yes.
So you're actually doing a lot of mental work and psychological work as you're going on
Absolutely.
stage.
Oh wow!
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
That's really great. I want to go to you, Nan-Lynn.
Okay.
As a black woman writing the play and having a man direct it, were there anything lost in translation, or how well did Kevin capture your sensibility as a black woman writing for black women and black men?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. It's so funny because when I write, when I really get into it, I try to be like gender free. You know what I mean? I try, and I feel like more of my masculine side comes out when I'm actually doing it. So I really try and strike a balance. So even though I'm a black woman and I wrote these strong black female characters, I try and get out of the way of being this gendered person and just sort of be the vehicle to write the play and be the creative spirit, you know, and so I wasn't thinking, you know, oh, I don't think a male can find this. And I felt like Kevin did capture a lot of, I mean, there were times when he was, you know, making the points and I was sitting there going, yes, that's exactly right. That's right. You know, he got it. So yeah, I didn't feel like there was a male-female opposition, you know, in the rehearsal process. Because like I say, I really do try and get out of the way of that when I'm writing.
Oh, great. Thanks for sharing that. I want to share something for the audience.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be specifics. So my question is, what are some of the psychological or emotional states you're certain this play will invoke in the audience?
Repeat the question. What is
The
it?
psychological or emotional
emotional?
states? Or what are the emotions that you're aiming to tap into?
Well, one we hope is laughter.
Right.
We're banking
That's
on
number
that.
one. That's number one.
I think I got that check.
Check.
I'm supposed to be holding the camera. I'm laughing myself right here.
I think that the two things, the dynamic between the two sisters, that kind of love, but then there's that tension too. And maybe a little resentment because one sister had a completely different life than the other sister did. And so I think they've been trying to, you know, figure out, you know, how that all works for them. So they kind of have this push and pull kind of relationship. So it's an underlying relationship of love, but still there's that kind of push and pull tension. And then I really love the relationship between Gestel and somebody else in the play that you're gonna have to cut out because I forgot we were supposed to.
I saw that.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that. I said,
So forget it.
Yeah, forget it.
So let's just stick with the sister dynamic.
Yeah, sister
But I
dynamic.
really do love that dynamic.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that audiences can see themselves in these
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
to know that, oh
Absolutely.
wow, okay, wow, so I'm not so bad after all. Oh, I see, I need to work on myself. You know?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And
Or,
so,
that's just like my cousin Doretha.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Cousin who? What, your cousin who? You said Doretha? That's my mother's name. We're related.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Because Grandma Hazel, that's in this play, my mother's name is Hazel.
Oh, yeah.
So you know, there's a lot of relations.
And I really
past and
did
present.
want to write atypical, well, what some people may think of as atypical black women, but not really, because we all have family members,
Yeah.
and some ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like black people are not one thing.
Right.
You know,
Right.
we have our crazy, we have our eccentric.
Right.
You know, we have, you know, we're all human beings,
Right,
right?
right.
We belong to one human family,
Yeah,
and I think one of the things as a writer is I want to break through this kind of pigeonholing of black actors,
Right.
you know, and that to to see them and think, oh, well, she can only play
Right.
this person.
Yes.
You know, we can't hire her to be the scientist in the lab,
Yeah.
you know, or, you know, we can't hire her to be the eccentric, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But, you know, we are artists, you know,
Absolutely, yeah.
and we have the depth and the breadth of all human beings,
Yes.
you know.
And from the little that I saw, definitely the actresses tapped into the whole gamut of human life, human emotion, and it was brilliant. I mean, there was some serious talk there. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get the scoop on real things here. And there was that sort of quick humor, sharp, you know, tongue stuff there, and there was that crazy stuff. I'm like, whoa, really? If your characters were a real person, would you want to be friends with them?
I would say yes. Yes, because these characters, they're just so, they're different, they're fun, they're people that you would kind of like to know or understand. And they also could be people that, yeah, well, maybe, you know, I like to hang out with them. Yeah.
Hang out, right?
Yeah, I think they would be a fun person to hang out with. And yeah, because I do know people like that
Right.
kind of out there and crazy, but they're fun to be around.
All right, so keep them at a distance, right? Only on Friday nights. Giselle, what you doing on Friday night? But Sunday, I go to church. You know?
Exactly, right. Friday, Saturday night friends is different than the Sunday.
Right. What about you and your character?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I would definitely say yes.
Mm.
You know, we're all different people, so and I think you find something you like in every person. You know, even if you might think this person is a certain way or whatever, you know, we all have redeeming qualities, and we all have something special about
Yeah.
ourselves. So yeah, absolutely.
Because your character's no joke at the beginning. I don't want to bother you.
Like I say all the time, she's misunderstood. No, she's good people. She just expresses her way in her own way. Expresses herself in her own way. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe we can end off with maybe charming out a word or two that comes to mind from this play, that this play sort of projects for our viewers who I'm hoping will come see this play.
Yes.
Hilarious.
Hilarious.
That is my word.
Funny.
Funny.
Real.
Out of the box. That's all
Out
I
of the
can
box.
think of to say.
Wow.
And that
Yeah.
was supposed to be one word.
I know it's
but,
one
but,
word
But
with
you are the
hyphen.
writer.
It's hyphenated.
You are
Out of
used
the
to
box.
taking liberty with
Out of the box
words.
is one word.
Yes. You used
That's
to
great.
taking liberty with words. So yeah.
Anything you want to do over or whatever? Just let me know. This is
I'm good. How you
I'm
guys
good.
okay?
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you so much.
Well, you know, there's one thing that I would love to say.
Yes.
And that is one of the things that attracted me to this piece. I keep saying that it's funny, but the reality is when you think about plays written by African Americans, for African American actors, you don't think of a lot of comedies. And it's so refreshing to see a piece. Yes, it has meaning to it, but still it is labeled a comedy, and that's very rare. And so it's wonderful when you see it work. It seems like a lot of the times when plays written by African American authors are presented to artistic directors or whatever who are not in the African American community, there has to be a reason for the play, a serious reason for the play to be done. Where's the message? Where's the serious message? And you know, we are just people, and there's a great funny side to us. We have hilarious experiences. So I think it's wonderful when you run across a piece that is a full-blown comedy. It's very rare that's presented on stage, and that's why I love this piece.
Right, and I just want to add to that I love the piece as well. I mean, it's an honor to have a writer say that she writes something with you in mind. You know, that just never happens. If it does, it's a rarity. So I'm really, really honored that Nan-Lynn thought of me. And it's just wonderful to play, you know, a woman of a certain age, because, you know, everything is young out there, you know, so it's just wonderful. And to work with my dear friend, Sandra Mills Scott, you know, it's just
Sandra,
been a
not
joy.
Sandra.
Right.
That's right.
So, and it's beautiful writing, and
Yes.
we're just having a good time.
And you know, I just want to say how it came about, because we did a reading here.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Dixon Place last summer.
Oh, wow.
We were all set up to do it right here in this lounge area, and I was going to play the part of Biddy. And then I booked a national commercial, and it shot the same day of the reading.
Oh, wow.
2 days before the reading. 2 days before the reading, I was like, Marjorie, hey, somebody else, Marjorie. And she said, oh, I think I might know somebody. And she sure enough did, and she brought us Sandra Mills Scott.
Wow.
And I shot the commercial, and I was able to get here, I think, halfway during the reading, and I sat over there while it was going on. And it was so great. The audience loved it. It was a standing ovation. And then when Ellie decided to option it for a world premiere, I was like, well, this is Biddy.
Wow.
You know? And it just
Wow.
went so well, the dynamics, and I guess the fact that they're friends, that they've known each other for so long. And I just thought that would be wonderful. I'm just so happy that I was able to create a vehicle that 3 amazing actors could be in and express themselves as the artists that they are.
Wow.
So it's a real honor for me, honestly, to have you all in my play. It really is.
And working with Jesse Holmes too. I mean, it's been long coming. As a matter of fact, when I think Kevin said, "Do you know Jesse and Holmes?" I said, "He'd be perfect for this play. He would be perfect." And I said, "We hope that he was available." And it's like he said, "He's a go."
Wow.
So
That's really
yeah.
cool.
Because we go way back,
Way
as,
back,
as well,
yeah.
you know, and we have this little like dancing competition.
Oh, really? I saw something
Yes.
going on there. That
Well,
was like a little
yes.
choreography.
Well, he started. He was doing a play
Okay.
in New Jersey, right?
Yeah,
at Cape
Cape
May,
May.
and he posted something. I'm dancing on the beach. I'm dancing on the beach. And then I was
Oh,
doing
Jesse
a play.
started all
Yeah,
this?
Jesse started.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Jess.
Oh, it's all over YouTube.
It's all over YouTube.
It's all
It's
over
all over
YouTube.
YouTube.
Okay.
And so she
Right.
was doing a show in northern New Jersey.
Right,
And so
right.
she posted a competition, a piece competing with me.
Uh-huh.
And so we've been competing with our dances back and
Forth,
forth.
right.
She's been dancing a lot more than
That
I
she
have.
traveled all over the world,
Yes.
literally hit every beach from Sri Lanka to
Abu
Saigon.
I mean,
Yeah,
and
Abu Dhabi,
danced
Abu
on
Dhabi.
every
Yeah.
beach.
Yes, yes.
Right. In Malaysia,
And posted
she was
it
in
on
Facebook.
Vietnam.
Uh-huh. Yes,
Follow
yes,
you.
yes.
Dancing
I
on
was
the
like,
beach.
there's Marjorie
Yeah.
Are you on
dancing on the
Instagram?
beach.
You on Instagram?
I am. I
Okay,
am on
cool.
Instagram as well. Yes.
Who else is on Instagram?
I am as well.
Okay.
Not I, sorry.
Are you sure?
I should get on Instagram.
Wait a minute. You sure you're not on Instagram?
Am I on
You
Instagram?
are on Instagram.
I'm on Instagram?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know, you didn't know.
You've seen me on Instagram?
Oh, yes. I'll show you right after this.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, yeah, so she's been all over the world dancing all over the beaches.
Okay.
So I'm competing with her, but see, I haven't been to the beaches, so I
Uh-huh.
dance in my kitchen
Okay,
in the
okay.
snow, in the winter. But she's on that
Exactly.
beach.
And we were dancing right here
Yeah, I
just
know, I
now
was like,
doing
I
that
saw
whole thing.
Yeah, that was pretty
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Are y'all doing it after the show?
We
We're
might.
gonna
Probably
actually.
will.
I think we're gonna be dancing our way off
Off
the
the
stage
stage.
when we
Okay.
finish. We're gonna be
Oh,
like,
look at those moves.
hey.
Y'all better watch out. Yes, this is awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kasaun.
Thank you for
you so
letting me
much.
tap
You're
into your
welcome.
energy, into your world.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
It's a pleasure.
Thank
My
you.
pleasure.
It's a pleasure.
Yes, a pleasure.
All right.
And I
Cool.
love political soul food.
Me too.
So could you tell us how you
we
got
can
that
get a
name?
copy of that
Yeah.
hat?
Yeah, well, everybody, make sure you get out here to see Glory and these
Yes.
fabulous performers and creative spirits.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty.